What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some news concerning Wladimir Klitschko. Wladimir Klitschko is rumored, of course, to come back to the sport of boxing. You know, it hasn't been set in stone, of course, on what he will do, but he does have a good chance of coming back and facing some of the top fighters. We've covered that. However, his promoter have stated something that was very interesting that I wanted to point out to you guys. It's one of those situations where he has a great example as an older brother or as a younger brother to another brother, Vitali Klitschko. Vitali did take a 4-year layoff. And then came back to dominate the heavyweight division and leave on top, which he came back in 2008 and beat Samuel Peter. Samuel Peter was a hard-hitting Nigerian. He's one of the hardest punchers. I put him up there with Iko Baribuchi, Ernie Shavers, George Foreman. He was a very dangerous opponent. But Vitali was able to come back after that long of a layoff and make such an impact on the sport of boxing. So knowing that, I think that is a great motivator for Vladimir to do the same thing. Of course, that we've seen Vladimir come back, take, a year or so off, come back to the sport of boxing, fight a fantastic fight like he did with Joshua. You know what I mean? And he looked regenerated. Also, Vladimir Klitschko trains every day. Okay? He trains every day. He's a natural athlete, and there wouldn't be any problem for him coming back. I think it's just a motivation for him coming back. But what other motivation than having a big brother that did the same thing, that took a longer layoff, okay, to make an impact for the sport of boxing? And I feel that if Vitali can do it, Vladimir can do it. You know what I mean? They have the same gene pool. Both of these guys are in shape. They're big. They have such an advantage, and I see that there's nothing wrong with that. I see that that is a great motivator for Vladimir to, in fact, look at his bigger brother and seeing what his brother can do. Not to be in competition, so I don't want you guys to think that he's trying to compete with his brother, because he's not. But it is a great motivator knowing that his brother can do that. To knowing like, hey, if my brother can do that and he was older than I was at the time, maybe I can do that too. You know what I mean? The last chapter, the last return of the old king, the old ruler of the heavyweight division. Okay. So I think that would be a great opportunity for Vladimir Klitschko to come back, and of course he has all the support. I feel that he is vital to the heavyweight division right now, and I think it was a kind of short-lived fight. I think he should have fought Joshua again, honestly, because of the way that fight ended. Because honestly, between an uppercut, that was the difference between that fight. In the 11th round, that fight was back and forth. If you had to rate, if you didn't count the 11th round, if you had to score rounds 1 through 10 between those two fighters, what would you've picked? You had one knockdown apiece for two guys, and a lot of swing rounds and split rounds. A lot of action. You know what I mean? So the 11th round, the uppercut sealed the deal. But if it wasn't for the uppercut, that fight could have went to the scorecards, and then who knew who would have won that fight? You know what I mean? Sure, Joshua had the hometown advantage. I get that, but at the end of the day, that was a very close fight. You know what I mean? So I feel that he could have fought Joshua again. But I think someone like Klitschko, if you've known anything about Vitali took 4 years off and came back rejuvenated. And each of the years that Vladimir did, he came back and he looked like a better fighter, a new and improved, revitalized fighter. So since that's the case, I think rest and healing and time away from the gym does those guys good. Okay. I'm not necessarily saying that not doing anything, because these guys, it's in their DNA to stay busy doing something. Either they're swimming, they're cycling, they're doing something that's physical. Okay, just weight training. Those are those kind of dudes, just natural athletes. You know what I'm saying? So, but I think time away from the gym is a lot. It benefits them a great deal, and I think Vladimir has had a long enough layoff. In fact, all the time that he was resting, it's been about 4 years. So I think it's about time for him to come back. You know what I mean? And make that quota stick for being a Klitschko. You know what I mean? Because Klitschko's, these guys, they aim high. Their expectation level is very high. Their standards are high. And I was excited to see them, see him wanting to come back to the sport for Joshua Fury, because that's where you're supposed to start. Not anywhere in the middle or, this top 10. No, start right at the beginning. If Tyson Fury can get a fight with Wilder, so can Klitschko get a fight with Joshua. Why not? Okay. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about this video. If Vladimir will come back, can he do what Vitali did when Vitali was off 4 years and came back to be on top? Of course, guys, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunched. Peace.